Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. So let's talk about something happening quietly in Japan. Something that isn't dramatic, but is absolutely changing the culture. More and more people in Japan simply aren't dating. Not because they hate relationships and not because romance has vanished, but because many people feel dating isn't necessary, urgent, or even realistic anymore. For a growing number of young adults, being single isn't a failure or a temporary stage. It's becoming normal. And to understand why, we need to look at what life is really like for people here today. Dating requires three things: time, mental space, and emotional energy. But for many in Japan, work consumes most of that. Long hours, unpredictable schedules, pressure to stay late even after finishing tasks. Dating doesn't feel exciting. It feels exhausting. But work isn't the only reason. Money plays a huge role, a bigger one than people outside Japan often realize. Many young adults start life in debt because university isn't free here. Student loans can take years, sometimes decades, to repay. Meanwhile, wages have barely risen, living costs continue to increase, and stable full-time jobs aren't guaranteed. So for many, the reality isn't, I don't want a relationship. It's, I can't afford one. And while that may sound sad, it's also practical. Because in Japan, relationships often come with expectations: emotional, financial, and cultural. Dating can be expensive. Marriage is seen as commitment, not experimentation. Raising children is costly and requires long-term stability. And when someone is barely surviving their own life, adding another person, emotionally or financially, can feel impossible. So what happens? People find alternatives. Dating apps are everywhere now, and they've changed how relationships form. With a few taps, someone can connect with others casually, chatting, meeting occasionally, or forming something that exists in a gray area. Not a couple, not strangers, not permanent, not committed. Some call it a situationship. In Japan, there's a word, seifure, a purely physical arrangement without the responsibilities of a relationship. For some, it's convenience. For others, it's self-protection. And for many, it's the easiest and least risky option. And there's another factor unique to Japan: the legal and widely available adult entertainment industry. For some, physical needs become a service transaction, predictable, scheduled, and emotionally uncomplicated. This doesn't mean people don't want connection. Humans always do, but it shows how the meaning of connection is evolving. Now, it's important to say this: not everyone who is single by choice. There are two groups in modern Japan: those who choose independence, enjoying freedom, flexibility, and personal control, and those who wish they could pursue love or build a family, but feel financially or emotionally unable to. One group says, I don't need dating. The other says, I don't have the option. Both exist, and both deserve to be acknowledged. There's also something cultural happening: the weight of responsibility. Relationships here often involve obligation, showing up, committing fully, sacrificing for someone else. For many young adults who are already overwhelmed by work, uncertainty, family expectations, and debt, the idea of adding emotional responsibility feels too heavy. So they delay dating, then delay marriage, then eventually ask themselves, do I need this at all? Meanwhile, modern Japan makes living alone surprisingly easy, even comfortable. Solo dining, solo travel, solo karaoke, solo lifestyle products. Everything exists for one person. No stigma, no pity, no pressure. Being alone isn't lonely. It's normal. So dating competes with comfort. Effort competes with convenience. Risk competes with safety. And increasingly, convenience wins. But this doesn't mean love is gone from Japan. People still form connections. They still marry. They still build families. It's just happening differently. More slowly, more cautiously, and more selectively. The bigger shift isn't that dating is disappearing. It's that obligation is disappearing. For the first time, young adults in Japan can ask, do I actually want a partner, or did I just assume I needed one? Some say yes, some say no. Some are undecided, and that's okay, because maybe the question isn't, why aren't Japanese people dating? Maybe the real question for all of us is, what does it mean to build a life that feels meaningful, with or without a partner? Love isn't going away, it's changing form, and Japan may be showing us a possible future, one where relationships are not required, but optional. Not default, but deliberate. Not automatic, but chosen. So whether you're dating, single, casual, uninterested, hopeful, or somewhere in between, You're not alone, and there isn't one correct way to live. Thanks for listening. Tell me in the comments, do you date because you want connection or because society once told you that you needed it? I'm curious to hear your experience. All right, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this conversation and want more deep dives into culture, society, and human behavior, feel free to subscribe. Until next time, take care. And whether you share your life with someone or live it on your own terms, I hope you live it fully.